Good evening. Our topic for tonight is all about love. And I think this is the most important topic of all time. Why? Because this is what we are here for. Love is what we are here for. Love is what makes life meaningful. Without love, there's no life. The very purpose of our life is to experience real love. Whatever we are doing, our main goal is to experience happiness, joy and happiness. But the real joy and happiness comes from love. Without love, there's no joy. Without love, there's no happiness. We have previously discussed that there are 4 kinds of love that we need to experience throughout our life. Without these 4 kinds of love, life is nothing. Life has no purpose. And then the first love that we need to experience is children's love. We need to experience love from our parents. We need to have parents who can provide that love, parental love to us, because that is the basis for us to grow as a human being. And the real love is God's love. Supposed to be, we need to experience God's love from our parents. Our parents should be a God-centered people. We should see God through our parents. We need to experience God's love, actually, for us to experience the real essence of children's love. To experience children's love is to experience love from our parents. But that is only one way. Love is give and take. We need to learn how to give back that love by being a filial child, by being a good child to our parents. I don't know if you experience longing for your parents. We should long for our parents because these are the very foundation for us to go to the second stage of love, which is brothers and sisters love. If we receive real love from our parents, parental love, we can be a good brother or good sister to anybody. Without receiving such love, it's so difficult to live, with other people. So our relationship is actually brothers and sisters. What makes us real good brothers and sisters is when we experience the children's love. So what happened when children did not experience children's love or love from their parents? Actually, they suffer a lot of things, from attachment disorder to mental disorder and some other physical effects. One very good example of this is this orphanage in Romania in Russia. This started in 1990 when Americans start adopting these kids in the orphanage in Russia. And many of them experience hardship in raising these children because of not receiving love in their early childhood.
Lynn Lansford and her husband Jim adopted 2 children from Romania. Juliana was an infant. She adjusted quickly. But 3-year-old Alex was another story.
He is this charming, phonily happy, brilliant, talented child from hell.
Alex had been born 3 months premature, the unlikely survivor of a botched abortion. His incubator had been a cardboard box. A 40-watt bulb had kept him warm. When he got to Colorado, he was covered with scars. He could barely walk. Slowly, the tiny boy began to improve physically, but his emotional damage was devastating.
He had this dark side to him. He was self-abusive. This child throws himself against the wall. He makes himself go into seizure by slamming his head on the floor.
Alex was suffering from what's called attachment disorder, brought on by spending his first 3 years without love or nurturing.
I said, "Do I love you, Alex?" He says, "No, nobody loves me." And I said, "What is love, Alex?" He says, "I don't know what love is." I said, "Do you love me?" He says, "No, I don't love anybody." And I said, "Do you want me to love you?" And he says, "I never want you to love me."
Jim and Lynn say they tried everything. With 2 other children at home, they were becoming desperate.
My whole family changed after we got Alex. What should have been this wonderful adoption with this wonderful, charming little boy, but he's systematically controlled, manipulated, and destroyed us, our whole family.
The breaking point, they say, was reached when 7-year-old Alex attacked his sister.
We heard this blood-curdling scream from Juliana, and I froze. I knew what he was doing. He is on top of her, beating her senseless.
To pay for doctors and therapists, the Lansfords remortgaged their home.
We tried everything. We tried loving him. We tried being angry. We tried controlling. We tried holding therapy. We tried everything, and we never could reach him. And he didn't want to be reached.
I think attachment is the foundation of every other thing in life, of every other developmental process. Until we get at the core issue of the child's issue about, I will not allow anyone to be close to me, I will never trust anyone, it doesn't matter what else we do.
Dr. Gregory Keck has treated hundreds of children with attachment disorder. It's a problem faced by many adoptive parents, especially those whose children spent more than a few months in an orphanage. Alex Lansford's case is extreme, but a child who isn't loved and cared for as an infant will almost certainly have problems attaching to a parent later.
Love is the maximum nourishment for growth. When you're in love, you will run to that place wherever it is. You have to go over the mountain or through the mountain. You will be attracted to it so much. Why? Because love provides a whole system, all the hormones and connections of the system to do what? Provide for your growth and your maintenance and your health. However, the moment you get in fear, then what do you have to do? You back away, you wall yourself off, you separate from the environment, and the consequence is this. Protection from the environment cuts you off from the environment. Cutting yourself off from the environment cuts you off from life. Now, the issue is very interestingly revealed, especially in kids in Eastern Europe, where they have so many orphanages. I always thought that these kids in Eastern Europe were in the orphanages because all the wars going on over there. It turns out that's not true. The kids are in the orphanages because the parents are still having babies because of whatever their religious beliefs are, and they can't maintain them. So orphanages are dumping sites for kids that parents can't maintain, not because they don't have parents. And it turns out, in the studies on these kids, virtually the largest percentage, over 80% of them, become autistic. What is an autistic child? A child that doesn't respond to the outside. Why? Because in the protection required to survive, the child walls itself off. And as a result, look at the pathology that results. These kids do not interact with our lives because they put a barrier between them and the outside world. But what else happens to them? Every growth parameter is reduced by from 30 to 40% or more. Their size, their height, their physiology. Why? Not getting love is losing the nourishment. Not getting the love means that if you're not getting love and support, then you're also then trying to protect yourself. In the absence of love is fear. And the result is fear will shut off your system.
And these children are longing for love. They're longing for love. In the 1990s, Americans, journalists discovered these orphanages in Romania where there's a lot of children longing for love. And what happened is that they become abnormal. They become disabled. They become autistic of not receiving the love of our parents. And even though these Americans take care of these kids they bring to America, they have difficulty raising them because the very foundation, which is starting from 3 months, when they were 3 months, they should be experiencing that love. They were not able to experience that love from their parents. And that makes them so hard to grow. So the very foundation for us to experience real brother sisters love is experiencing children's love. And children's love and brother sister love will be the foundation to experience the third kind of love, which is conjugal love. Conjugal love is only a relationship between husband and wife. I can love your parents more than my parents even. I can love you as my brother or sister. I can even love you more than my brother or my sister. But I cannot love you the way I love my wife, okay, or husband. Okay? So, parents' love, children's love, or brother sisters' love can be experienced in many ways. But the conjugal love is only for husband and wife relationship. And that is what we need to discuss further here. Because this is the very, the turning point of the many problems in society. We grow as immature people. And we enter into a relationship of this conjugal relationship. And then we don't know how to become a parent, because the foundation is not being laid for us to become a husband and wife. And then we become a parent, not reaching the level of being a parent. So we don't know how to take care of our children also. We cannot provide the necessary love that our children needs. That's why we have a lot of problems in the world.